Hello again, it's Andy Michaels, and this is part 2 of my two-part series video about how to create a song and video to get it to YouTube. We're going to pick up pretty much where we left off on the last point, where we created the song, the audio of the song in Audition. Here it is right here, and as you can see, I don't remember if I showed this last time, but the lead guitar in this column here has been completed, where I added that, edited out the dead air sections and whatnot where I didn't have any particular lead. I changed some of the vocals around. I mean, not like changed them, I just redid them, particular parts that I wasn't that happy with how they sounded. So there was a couple things there and here and there. Tweaked some things, made sure my reverb was in place and my chorus on all the vocals, and I had the lead how I wanted it to sound and all that stuff. So it's pretty much ready to mix down now. That's the last thing we did on the previous video, so that's what we'll start with on this one. And like I said, that's simple to do. We go up here to File and Export and Audio Mix Down. And since I already mixed it down once, it should already be here. Let's see, 9 days gone by. There we go. Click on that. So we'll name it the same thing, of course. It's in WAV format. We'll click on Save. This is just asking if I want to overwrite because it already exists, and I do. So I'm going to click on Yes. By the way, I do appreciate any comments about things I may have missed or things you did not understand, or constructive criticism, whatever it happens to be. Obviously, this is coming from a standpoint of, that you're already a musician, or you're already at least somewhat proficient in some kind of instrument or guitar or piano or whatever that you're going to start laying down tracks with. I can't help you if you don't already know how to play. I mean, actually, I was thinking about making some guitar lesson videos about, teaching how to play basic guitar chords and chord structure and stuff. But that's another story, so that may be later on. But okay, so we got our file mixed down now, and as you can see, as I was briefly mentioning on the last video, that we've got some peaks here that I don't like. They're over the line. That means that they potentially could sound distorted when we get to those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called normalization, and basically it just takes the file and makes everything kind of equal on both left and right sides. So we'll go into amplitude and compression, and we'll go down to normalize. Click there, and we want to normalize to 100%. The only reason why you'd go down any less than 100% would be if you wanted the file to be of a little less volume than the maximum before it would clip. So I wanted the maximum volume, but without going over the clip line. And I want it left and right equal, so I'm going to maximize to 100%. We'll hit OK. This usually doesn't take too long. Sometimes it'll bring it down more than I like it, though, so we'll see what happens here. Yeah, see, that brought it down quite a bit. And as you can see now, that it's because of these peaks here that it has to go way down here, so it can accommodate these peaks to be under the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these peaks. Now, I want left and right both. I'm going to select just that little section there. Actually, let's zoom in a little bit here so we don't get too much of it. So I'm going to take just that little section there, and I'm going to turn it. See, this is the gain right here. I'm going to turn the gain down, get that down there, and let's zoom back out. We got like a couple more over here. There. Take that down a little bit. They're probably just voice spots where I got a little high on my notes or high on the amplitude. We got a couple here. Let's do both of those together. Turn that down just a hair. This one here just a little bit. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I mean, these are okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select the whole wave. I'm going to go back into my amplitude and compression, into the amplify fade process. And I'm going to boost it back up about, let's try 6 dB to start with, to get it back up where we want it at. Okay, that's just about perfect. We've still got a few over the line. let's undo that, and let's try maybe 5 dB instead. It's not a custom. It's not a setting, so you have to custom turn this down to where you want it, or you can just put it in here 5. Okay, so we'll go up 5 instead of 6, and that should be about perfect. There's a couple of them still going over, but I'm not concerned about that. The next thing I want to do is make sure there's no dead air at the beginning or the end, so I'm going to zoom in here. I mean, this little thing here probably wouldn't make much of a difference because we're zoomed so far in. It's probably like a millisecond. Here you can see it's like less than 0.2. So I'm particular, so I'm gonna get rid of it. So it starts right there. And I don't know why that did that. Anyway, so we'll go to the end here. We'll zoom in. Whoops, wrong way. It happens sometimes. Okay. Go to the end here. We'll zoom in this way. And there's a little bit there we'll get rid of. So you can see here as it fades out. Sounds good. Okay. So now I'm pretty much done with my completed mixed down song. So I'm going to go here and hit save again to save the changes. Okay, so it's pretty much as soon as that thing stops scrolling across there, it's done saving. So now we're pretty much, well, we are complete with the, we can take this little marker out, with the audio portion of everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to file and close this mix down, since we just saved it. I don't know why it's asking me to save it again, but I'm going to hit yes. Okay, there we go. Now we're just seeing the audio from within the multi-tracks. Let's go back to multi-track and make sure our session gets saved. So we'll go File, Save Session. And now it's asking if we want to save the individual components of the session. Of course we do, because if we want to come back in later and edit anything, we want to make sure it's all there. So we're going to say yes to all. It'll save that in a folder called Recorded, 9 days _ recorded. So now all that is saved. The session is saved, so we can go here and close the session. And we still got some media left over. Those are the parts that either the extra stuff that wasn't included in the session, like stuff I recorded and didn't use, or the stuff that we did use and it's just open. So we'll go here to File and close Unused Media. That all goes away. And then we can go up here and just X out Audition totally, because we're done. And okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start on the video portion. So what I use for my video editing is Windows Movie Maker, which is, I know it's a simple program. It's not nearly as advanced, as anything like Adobe Premiere or anything. Eventually, that's what I'm gonna end up getting. Especially having experience with Adobe Audition, I'm sure that I could learn Premiere pretty quickly. And admittedly, Movie Maker doesn't have all the features that I'd like it to have, but it has quite a bit for being, freeware, being a free program from Windows. Actually, I don't know if it's even available anymore. You might still be able to download it. It's within the Windows Live Essentials bundle, which includes Windows Live Mail, Windows Messenger, and all those programs. So 2012 was the last version they made, so it may still be downloadable. Last time I downloaded Live Mail for a customer, I was able to get it, so it's probably still out there, but you're not going to get any updates for it. So, first thing I'm going to do in the construction of the video portion is I'm going to add a title. So I'm going to go up here to the title. I'm going to click title, and it adds in. It automatically sets it at 7 seconds. I like to extend it out to about 10 seconds for my title. And you can change the background color if you want to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I leave it black. But usually I don't decide that until the end of the process. But for right now, let's just pull this out and pull this out. and we're going to delete that, and I'm going to put in my title. So this is going to be 9 Days Gone By, and then I'm going to go enter, and then by, enter, Andy Michaels, something like that. And I usually leave it the default font unless, depending on what I use the same font all the way throughout. So whatever I decide to use for my captions, for my lyric captions, then I'll go back and change this, and I'll change the end credits as well. But for right now, we'll leave it as the default font, whatever this thing is right here that it defaults to. So as well as the colors and everything, the white text and the black background. So now we've just got this 10-second title that goes like that. So the next thing obviously we're going to want is some video content. And what I do usually, as if you've seen my other videos, what I do is I use the video that I record during the production of the song. Like on the previous video showing the process, I recorded a lot of myself doing the vocals and doing the rhythm and doing the lead guitar stuff. So granted, I only put in portions of that in the previous video because I edited it for time, but in this case I could reuse a lot of that video to dub it up and match it with the song. So we're going to go back to the home position here, and we're going to go to add videos and photos, and then it'll bring up the last place you were in, which this happens to be my videos folder, and this is the folder that I want. I believe the first one I'm going to get is this one. I believe this was the one I did my intro lead from. So we're going to go to open and put that in, and you can see it adds in the video here. Now you can zoom in and out of this timeline just like you can zoom in and out of the audition timeline. It's a little different though. You have to use this control down here. You can't scroll like I did over there. But so right now it's about midway, but you can zoom it all the way out to where it's as short as that. But obviously you're not going to be able to work with it very well with it zoomed out that much. So I usually keep it about midway, maybe towards 3/4, so I can see a lot of the video. So the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to get this portion of the video started at a point where I'm actually playing and stuff. I'm going to edit out all this extra intro and all that because I don't need that in the music video. Okay. So now if you can see, so you'll recognize this video from the last video that I made where I was explaining what I was doing there. So I'm adding in the lead. So I'm going to skip to the point where I'm actually starting to play. So let's go. Let's see here. I'm capoed. Okay, this isn't lead. I'm sorry. This is rhythm, which is okay because we can start with this. So let's see here. Sharp from standard. Okay, there. I'm just explaining it. We can go past that. Minor sharp. So just so you're aware of that. Okay, so I'm going to start my rhythm here. Okay, so let's go to here. I don't know if I'm going to use this, honestly, because when I changed around the rhythm and the chorus stuff, it's not going to match up. So I think I'm going to discard this, and I'm going to go to the next video. So we're going to go back to add, and let's go to this one. This is the lead one, I believe. Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to lay down our lead track. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get to the part where I started playing. I know you can't see. So, let's see here. By the way, this is it. So that's what I'm going to use. So right about here. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, there's where I want to start at, where I started playing at, but when you add transitions between components here, whether it's between the title and the first video or between other videos throughout the project, it takes away a few seconds from the end of one and the beginning of the other. Like the time for the actual transaction to take place, which you can move that from a quarter of a second all the way up to 2 seconds. The default is 1.5 seconds. So instead of having it directly start right there, I'm going to back it up a little bit to allow for that transition time. So and then so I'll back it up to about right there. Then I'm going to right click and I'm going to say set start point, which means that's where I want this video clip here that I just added. That's where I want it to start here at the end of the title. Instead of, that means it's going to cut all this part out. So I'm going to set start point. So now it's up here. So it comes right out of the title, right into where I start playing at. So now I'm going to add my transition between this black background and this first video. So I'll go here to animations, and then I'll click this down arrow until usually I use this one here, which is just a basic fade in and fade out. So that's going to take us from the black background there into this video. As you can see, goes pretty much into where I'm playing. I mean, there's a little bit of downtime there. I mean, I could probably cut a little bit more off of this by, going in a little bit here and then right-clicking and set start point there instead. So let's try that out. Now, when I add the actual song, the audio to this, it's not going to match up exactly because I ended up redoing the lead guitar later on. But it's going to be close, and based on the fact that the sound from this video is not going to be on, the end user, the end watcher is not going to notice that too much. Unless they're a musician themselves and they're nitpicking, basically. Okay, so I think at this point we're going to go ahead and add the audio. Now this here, this is the title, and it's at 10 seconds, and this somehow is back at 7. I'm not sure how that happened, but we need to add that back to 10 as well to match, so that this title, the text of the title, is in sync with the background. So we'll click there. We'll scroll down, or we'll hit that arrow and select that to 10. So now they're even, the text and that. So that means that right as we get to the end of that fades out at the same time when it goes in. So now let's go back to home and add music. And we want to add, just click on add music, and then go to the song that we created, the mix down, which right here, 9 Days Gone By. So I hit open on there. So it's going to add in the audio here, this green portion, the green waveform. So now you'll see that that it's going to start with the title. Let's see. So obviously we're a little bit out of sync here. The lead on the video starts before the lead in the song. I'll show that to you again. There I'm starting on the video. There's the lead on the song. So I want to sync that up. So what's going to happen here now is, I hope this doesn't get too complicated, but since I cut a good deal of video off the beginning of this to get it to where I'm starting the lead, I need to add some of that back in because we've got some extra time before it starts. Or instead of going through that, which would be time consuming, I could just make the title a little longer. So the lead for the song starts about right here. and I start playing in the video, let's see, right about here. So that's the difference between here and here. So that's probably about maybe 2.5 seconds. So let's make this, let's take this out to 12.5 seconds. And then we may be pretty close. Let's see. Yes. So now I mean, it's not exact, but it's close enough. Okay. So now the next thing is we're going to mute the audio from the video itself, because we don't want that to play. We just want to hear the actual song audio just masked on top of the video. So we're going to click on the video, double click the video, and then over here you can see video volume, and we're going to drag it all the way to 0 so it's muted. So now when we go in and play it, we're just going to hear the music. And it looks like I'm playing it for the song right there, doesn't it? Isn't that neat? Okay, so now the next thing is going to be, we want to transition over to the video where I was singing to when I laid down the vocals, and that is this syncing up this lead guitar is a lot easier than syncing up vocals. I tell you that much, but it can be done. So whoops, didn't mean to do that. So what I'm going to do is right where these or right shortly before the vocals start here, I'm going to I'm backing it up here because I want time for that transition, and I'm going to, I could at this point set endpoint. What that would do is that would just cut off the rest of the video, and the end of it would be right here, and then the next video we add, we'd go right into that. But instead of doing that, I'm just going to split, because what that does is it gives me an ending here that I can insert another video, but I can still save the rest of this, because if I might want to use this somewhere else in the video. So I'm saving it. So now I'm going to go back to the home screen. I'm going to go to Add Videos and Photos, and I need the next video, which I believe is this one, where I started the first verse of the vocals. So we'll add that. And sometimes it'll take longer to add videos, but I've had these in here before, basically, when I was creating the video yesterday. So it's pretty quick because they've been here before. But sometimes it'll take up to a couple minutes to add in the video content. So we're going to drag this up between this split we just made, because this is where we want to come out of the lead, and we want to come into the vocal video. Obviously, we've got a lot to cut off here, including the kitty cat. She's not going to be in the video, although she's been in a lot of other videos. So we're gonna go up to the point where I start the vocals. So let's scroll through here, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I did several takes on this, and it would be the last take that would be the one that I want to use. Let's see here, where we at? And for the time being, so I can hear the video, I'm gonna double click the audio here, and I'm going to go music volume, and I'm going to turn it down all the way so I can focus on the video audio so I can see where I'm at. Since I've seen her cry. Now that was one of my vocal takes there, but I'm going to go towards the end here. It's a long video, because there you can see the rest of the one that I split up. But I want to go to the very last take. 9 days gone by. Okay, there, I'm just listening to it. Let's see. You told me. Correction. talking to myself. Okay, let's go.
They fall like rain. Told me I've tried.
Okay, that right there appears to be the last take of the vocal, so that's the one I'm going to use. Then I'm going to try and sync up with the audio. So I'm going to back it up just like I did on the other one, and then this point, I probably won't be able to use any other part of this video, so I'm going to just throw it away. So I'm just, instead of just splitting it, I'm going to set the start point, so everything before this point will be discarded. Okay, so now we've got the end of this part, the end of the lead video, going right into here. And that's pretty darn close right now. As you can see the waveform here on the video, that's where I start singing, and then here down here on the audio, it's right here, so it's slightly ahead. So I'm going to have to manipulate it and get that matched up. But if I turn the music back on, music volume back up, you can see where we're at here. Slightly, the video is slightly ahead of the audio. So, what can we do to get that to match up? Well, we can't, since we want to move the video portion forward to match up with the audio. We're not going to want to take anything away from the video, and there's nothing we can really add here. However, when we put the transition in, that's going to make an effect too. So let's go ahead and add the transition. We'll go to animations, and then I'll arrow down to this one that I normally use here. So that's it's the duration is 1.5 seconds. So we'll as you can see here, that actually made it worse. Now the video starts here on the singing, and the audio doesn't start till over here. So now I'm way back. So I think what's going to have to be done here is I'm going to have to go back into the original video, and I'm going to have to back up even farther before I make the split, so that I have extra there to work with. So we're going to hit the undo button. That'll take out the transition. Then if I hit the undo again, that brings back the original forward part, the original part of the video before I cut it. So now I'm going to go down here and find the point where I started at again, the last take of the vocals on this video, which I believe was somewhere around here.
'Cause you called.
Let's see.
Oh yeah. 9 days gone by.
Yeah, okay, so let's go here. There, I believe that's it. So before, I only cut back to about right there. This time I'm gonna give myself extra. I can always cut out more later. So I'm gonna go back to about right here. And then again I'm gonna go set start point. So now I've got much more extra video in front, so we don't end up with too little. Here you can see on the waveform, hopefully you can see that. I can probably zoom in a little bit more. Actually, let's make these a little bit bigger. Let's go up to medium here. Okay, so now here is the point where you see that waveform jump up. That's where the point where I start singing in the video. Back here is, if you see this jump in the audio waveform, that's where that starts at. So now you can see that the audio is ahead of the video. But we can fix that easily by cutting out more of the front part of it. But first, let's add our transition, because that's going to affect it too. So let's put that transition back in, see where we're at now. Actually, we got to turn the volume back up on the audio. Okay, so we got between here, there, and here. So we got to back this up. That means we've got to take some video away here. So I'm going to just kind of guesstimate. I'm going to go in about a quarter of the way through. I'm going to right-click and set start point, see where we're at now. So now we've got between here and here. So we still got a little ways to go. So let's cut a little bit more out. Start point. Okay, so now we're getting closer. There's the audio, there's the video. So it's going to be a little bit, here's what it's going to sound like now. It's like an echo. We don't want that. So we're going to take a little bit more out of this, just a tiny bit more. Start point. Now look at that, look at that, look at those peaks. They're almost exactly lined up.
9 days gone by.
Hear that?
Since I've seen her cry.
So that's perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and mute the video volume. We'll turn it all the way down. So now we'll play the transition.
9 days gone by.
And the audio matches up with my singing on the video.
I've seen her cry.
Now, if you've watched my videos in the past, you may have noticed that sometimes it's a little bit out of sync, and that's because either I didn't make a video of myself originally singing, and I did it after the fact, and it was a little bit off, or I was frustrated with I couldn't get it exactly right, and I just gave up and let it go and hoped that nobody noticed it. But most of the time, I can get it pretty damn good. So at this point, we've got it. So now, as far as our video goes, we've got title, 12-second title. Then we go into the lead guitar. And then we come out of the lead.
Nine days gone by since I've seen her cry. I've tried.
We'll let this go all the way through to the end of the verse.
But her veins fill my mind. You told me you'd stay. Oh, but you went away. Now the tears, they fall like rain. 'Cause you caused so much pain. Oh, 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 oh.
Okay, so that's the end of the first verse right here. We'll just end. We're going to end this video, and then we've got to add in the next video, which I did for the chorus. Okay, so we've got a brief period of lead in between the end of the first chorus and the second verse here. Right here. So I'm going to take what I had left here from the first lead in the beginning, and I'm going to insert a short portion of that between the end of the first chorus and the beginning of the second verse. So there's the end of the vocals. I'm going to stretch out a little bit to allow for my transition, and I'm going to split here. Then I'm going to take this. This is the portion of the video that was left over from where we put the lead in here at the top. Remember when I split it instead of ending it because I knew I wanted to use it again. So I'm going to put that in right there. And then I'm going to add my transition. So now we're going to have this. Okay, so lyrics started back up right about here. Let's see. There, okay, so we're going to back up a little bit and end this, but we're not going to end it. We're just going to split it because we're going to still need more of it later. So I'm going to split that, and then I'm going to go back to, I'm not going to go back to this because we don't need any more of that. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to go back to add our next video portion. So let's go find that. It should be in this folder here. I believe it would be this one, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so let's see where we're at here. Well, let's see. The lyrics start here. So I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm going to go back right about up in here, and that's where I'm going to set my start point, because I don't care about the rest of the beginning of it, because that's not anything I'm going to use. So I'm going to set start point. So now the start of the video goes right into the lyrics. So now I'm going to drag this up to the point where I split off the lead, because we're going to go back into the verse, the second verse. So I'm going to turn my music back up and see how close we came to matching it. Not too bad. It's pretty close. The video is a little bit ahead, so that's good. So we need to move it back and not forward. So we'll go a little bit right there, and then we'll set start point there. Still a little bit ahead, but we want to put our transition in as well. I don't want to forget that, because that if we get it lined up and then put the transition in, it's going to screw it all up again. So we'll put the transition in. Okay, so the video is still ahead of the music. So actually, I was going in the wrong direction there. I need to move it forward, not backwards. So we're going to have to back up a little bit here. So I'm going to hit the undo and undo again, undo again. Okay, so now I didn't put enough space in before the lyrics started. So let's see here. Oh, we're going to have to go back one more step here.
Okay, this is the...
there we go. Okay, so starts down there. So let's go about right here and set the start point. That should give us plenty. We'll drag that back up there. Now put the transition in. Okay, let's see where we're at now. Oh, we got to turn the music back up. Okay. Okay, now the music's ahead. That's what we want. So now we can back this up a little bit. I was kind of confused last time, and I went the wrong direction. So let's do that. Okay, we need a little bit more. Just a little bit at a time. It won't take too much. A little more. Even more. Can get hit, tedious at times. Oh, we're real close there. So just a little tiny bit more. Let's see which one's ahead now. Okay, so the video's a little bit ahead now. So I'm going to back up. It's not perfect, but we got it pretty well lined up here. So we're at the end of the second verse, and we're going into the second chorus. And let's see how much lead we have here. Okay, that's enough that I'm going to go ahead and leave this this lead video in here. So I'm going to put my transition in. Now, like I said, this is coming out of the second verse. before the second chorus. Okay, so there's the vocals again. So I'm going to back off for my transition, split it right about there. Then I need to go find my next video. So we'll go back to the home screen, go into add videos, and this one here is the next one, the last one. So yeah, this is what I was telling you before. This video's never been in here before, so it's going to take a few minutes to get it added. See, it says Movie Maker is preparing your files, so we'll come back right after that's added. Okay, the video is added. So the next step is going to be to get to the point of the video where I start singing and get that matched up with the audio. So I'm going to mute the music here again for a moment. Let's see. I think I did a couple takes here. Okay, I think that's the good one there. So we're going to go back a bit here. Set start point. Okay, and we'll see where we're at here. Okay, we'll turn the music back up. See what point we're at. Okay, so the music is ahead of the video. That's good because we can bring it back. Let's go ahead and add our transition here. That's pretty good, give or take. I might try adjusting my transition back a half a second and see if that gets us any better or worse. That made us worse, so let's go up to 2 seconds, see if that makes it any better. That made it worse too, so let's keep it right at 1.5 seconds. That's probably the best we're going to get there. It's not too bad. So let's keep following along here and make sure that everything matches up. Okay, that part was a little bit off. Let's see. I'm not that worried about that. Okay, this is the point where there's the long solo. So I'm going to split this here. And I'm going to re-add, because we don't have much left of this solo video, the lead video. So I'm going to actually re-add it, the whole video, which I believe is this one. So that we can use this. We'll drag it up here to the start point where we just split the other video. I believe it is right here. Let's check. Yes. Okay, so let's add a transition here. Okay, well, I didn't start playing right away, so I'm going to have to get to the point where I start playing. Okay, right about there, so let's see. Okay, we'll start it right there. And we don't have to worry about backing up on this because we're not matching the exact guitar playing like we were on the vocals. So we'll go ahead and set the start point there. So we'll come out of the chorus right into the playing of the lead. Now we also want to mute this, turn the video volume down all the way so we don't hear that. Okay, so now we're at the end of the solo, and I've already split it. And enough time before the vocals start to do a transition. So I'm going down here to the bottom again. Actually, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so it doesn't take so much time to get it up there. So I'm going to drag this back up to that split. Zoom back in a little bit here. Okay, now we got to get to the right point on this video to where I start singing again. Okay, there's the vocals, so I'm going to back up to about right here, set the start point, and see how close we are. Okay, so the video is behind. So that means that the video needs to go back. That's okay. So we're going to do like we normally do here and set the start point there. Okay, now it's just a little bit behind, so I'm going to add my transition, and it may make it perfect. It's a little bit, let's see. It's a little bit forward now, so we took off a little too much. So let's undo. And actually, let's take this back up to a second and a half and see what happens. Okay, let's do 1 second. Sometimes this can get frustrating to try to get it to line up, but still needs to pull back a little bit. Let's take just a hair off the beginning. Perfect. Or close enough anyway. It's not exact. But that's like a point I made before. If you've watched some of my previous videos, sometimes it doesn't match up perfectly because, again, this isn't the exact vocals that I did for the song that was recorded. This is something I did after the fact. So it's not perfect, it's not exact, but for the purposes of this video, it's good enough for me. Because obviously, if I wanted it to be exact, I would make sure that that every time I redid the vocals on the audio recording and I made a change, I would make sure that I recorded that with video so that I could match it up exactly. But I don't get that concerned with it because, like I said, most of the emphasis of this whole project is on the song, the audio itself. The video is just an added thing to get it on YouTube. So I don't focus that much on the video content. I mean, I want it to be decent and I want it to look okay, but I don't, I'm not going to get in a twist over a little half-second difference or something, Okay, so there we go out of a verse into a chorus, and so there's going to be some time in between, so I'm going to split that and get to the point where I started the chorus. Okay, let's mute the music. I don't know how many takes I did on this. Okay, I think that's the only one. Okay, so let's back that up to about right there. Set the start point. Now remember that on the audio, there's not any time in between. so we're going to have to take quite a bit off of this. Let's go ahead and put a transition in. We may end up not using a transition here. I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got quite a bit to take off here. Okay, a little bit more. Not bad. Okay. Now we got a short solo. Let's see, how long is the solo? Long enough that it's worth putting in the solo video. So I'm going to come to the end here. We're going to split this. Go down here to the bottom. Drag what we've got here of the solo, the lead video back up here. Put it back in there. Add a transition again. Okay, so there's where my lyrics start again. So I'm going to back up a little bit, do a split there, then I'm going to drag the rest of this video back up. Okay, we'll put that there. I'm going to put in a transition. Okay, now we got to find the point on the video where I start that part. Okay, which happens to be right there, so let's back that up a little bit. Set our start point about right there. Okay, so we've got the video ahead of the audio, so that means we need to... That means the video's got to move ahead, so we didn't leave enough back here, so we're going to have to backtrack. That's pretty good. I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's the end of the vocals there. So let's make sure that the video's all muted here. Turn the volume down. Anytime you split the video, too, keep this in mind. Any split you make turns it into another video. So you have to make sure that every part is now muted. So that's part of that. But this here is a new video, so its volume's still turned up. So I got to turn it down. And then this section, I got to turn it down. And then this section, I got to turn it down. Okay. And so then we're coming to the end of the vocals here. And we're going to start into the outro solo. So I'm going to set the end point because we're done with that video. So we're going to go back into the here you can see the end of the audio. So we're going to transition back into the lead video. Oops, right here. Now I usually put my what's called the credits, the end part of the video at about 20 to 30 seconds before the end. So let's see, the actual song ends at about 7:38:17. So I'm going to go back to about 7:08, 7:13, 7:12, 11, 10, 08. Okay, right around in here is where I'm going to start my end credits. So that means I'll take it out a little bit more just to have a little bit of wiggle room. And then here's where I'm going to set the end point of my last video. So that'll cut everything else off. So now right here Now I'm going to I'm going to go back to the home, and I'm going to put in credits. Click on credits, and it's going to add this black screen along with the text here. And so I'm going to put in that information. I'm going to stretch this out and start typing in my credits. So first I'm going to put the name of the song, 9 Days Gone By. Enter by. Actually, I want to put a space in there, and then by Andy. No. I'm thinking of the beginning. This isn't right. Space a little bit down, and I'm going to go performed by Andy Michaels, and then space a little bit. Produced by WM Productions. Space down a little bit. Then I'm going to put in quotes. 9 Days Gone By, written by Andy Michaels. And I'm going to go down a little bit more. I'm going to put in copyright 2017, WM Productions, all rights reserved. And then a little bit down further, thanks for watching. And please subscribe. And then I'm going to increase my font a little bit. Something like that. And then I'm going to double click this. Go down to 30 seconds instead of 7. Actually, that's way too long. As you can see, it goes way beyond the song. So let's, so that means we need to cut this back a little bit more. If we take out this last section, then that's about perfect. Let's cut it back to about 27.5. That should be perfect. We'll put a transition in here. This time we're going to use the fade to black because that's what we're doing. Let's move this back up here to the beginning of the black point. And now you'll see as it's going to fade out into the black screen and start rolling credits. And make sure that we don't have the song cut off at the end. Actually, we do, so we need to extend this just a hair bit more. I think 30 was too much. Well, let's see. We're going to extend our text to that same amount. 30 seconds. Okay, that's not too bad. So that portion of the video is done. But there's still more to do. Okay, this is going to be the final stage of making the video. And this is optional. Of course, a lot of this, any of the stuff is optional. I mean, obviously, you don't have to have a title. You don't have to have credits or anything. But this is the way I prefer to do it. This last part, though, is I'm going to add the captions for the lyrics. And that's pretty simple to do. And also, something else I like to do is I like to add this visual effect on my video. Instead of making it just the regular look as you recorded it, I like to add this filter that kind of makes it look black and white, sort of. I mean, there's several of them up here you can use. I mean, it's black and white with a different tint, but I like this brownish look, kind of make it look vintage. So I usually use that for every one of my video pieces throughout the video. Just, I mean, it just gives it a kind of a different look. I mean, it's not something you have to use, obviously, but that's a preference thing, so totally up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and add it on all these. Sometimes I accidentally miss one, and you get a short piece of regular-looking video in the within the song. So I'm going to go down here and change these. Sometimes I'll use some other different effects too, depending on what mood I'm in that particular day. So remember, anytime you split, like I said, it's a separate video, so you have to add any effect that you want to the separate pieces. Now, I'll show you how to do the captioning real quick, because I know this has been a long video, and I do apologize, but these things take time. So first thing you're going to do is we're going to go to the point in the video where the lyrics start, which is well beyond the lead video here. Okay, so there's where we start at. So let's back up a little bit. So we're going to go to the home. Now we're going to hit caption. Okay, caption. Then this is going to appear over here. So we're going to type in the first line of lyrics, which is 9 days gone by. Okay. Now you can leave it as is, or you can manipulate the text to make it look any way you want. I think for this video, since I didn't change the title or the end credit font, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to up the font a couple of times there, and then leave it as is. So there's the first part, and then I go back and make sure that it's synced up. So let's do that, which is pretty good. Actually, I think I'm going to move it forward just a hair bit because I'm a perfectionist. There we go. Okay, now you can adjust, obviously, the length that the caption stays on the screen by double-clicking on it, and then you get this text duration. The default is 7 seconds, just like everything else. I usually leave it at the default unless I need to stretch it longer, but usually I don't. And then I'll just, the next line I'll just put over top of it so that it doesn't, that it goes to the next one anyway. You'll see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so you go past that, hit caption again, then type in the next line, since I seen her cry. Okay, and then we're going to make it a couple sizes bigger, and obviously it's not in the right place. I start that part like up here somewhere, right about here. So I'm going to drag this over top of that one to the very edge there. So now you'll see, yeah. Even though this one here is out 7 seconds, it's not going to go to 7 seconds because, whoops, I put a space in there. It's not going to go to the full 7 seconds because I've got the next one over top of it. So, okay, as you can see now, all of my captions are in for all the lyrics. Actually, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing here. So at this point, the video is pretty much complete. And what I will do is, it's almost like Audition in the mix down session at the end, but in this case, we're going to go to File and Save Movie, depending on what quality you want. Obviously, I want the best quality I can get, so it's for high definition for 1080, so I'm going to select that. And it's going to come up and ask me what I want to call it. Since the project's already saved as 9 days gone by, that's what it defaults to, so that's what I want to save it as. You got a choice between an MP4 video, which is H.264, or Windows Media Video MW or WMV. It really doesn't matter. Either way, it's uploadable to YouTube. I usually just keep it at MP4 and then just hit save. So then it'll go through this process here. This usually takes about 10 minutes, give or take, depending on the length of the video. After this is done, then I'll go through and watch the entire video to make sure everything is correct. Transitions, effects, make sure my captions are timed and synced correctly. And then once that I get to that step, then I just upload it to YouTube, and I'm sure he knows how to do that. If you don't know how to upload to YouTube, it's a simple process. Just make a comment on this, and I'll include another video on that process as well. But I'm making some assumptions here on what people know how to do and don't know how to do. So a lot of you may be familiar with this software and know how to do this as well. But yeah, I'm gauging this on your feedback. So what you tell me is good and what's not good. So this concludes the 2-part video of the process of everything from starting the song in Audition, making the video, or creating the song and then making the video for the song and then getting it up to YouTube. I'll do some future videos on maybe on the creative process of writing the songs, getting the chord progressions. I may even do some demonstration on chord formation and playing the guitar and things like that if I've got some interested people. So it all depends on what you comment and what you tell me that you want to see. But even if you don't, I may venture into that in the future anyway. So thank you so much for watching. I know this video got long because it is an extensive process, and I wanted to make sure I got most of the detail in. I skipped things that I could, so it didn't get repetitive too much. But again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I know I'm new. I've had my channel, my YouTube account for a long time, but I haven't been a big content contributor to YouTube for some time. So I'm just starting out in that sense. So I'd like to build things up. So I really do appreciate you watching, and I would appreciate your subscription, because I'm going to do all sorts of different kinds of videos, not just music stuff, not just how-to stuff, but you'll see all sorts of things posted by me. So you don't want to miss out. All right. So everybody have a wonderful day, night, morning, whatever you happen to be at. And I will talk to you again soon. Adios.